2 videos in 2 days. Turn me up. Today we're going to be talking about how King Carson is gearing up to drop his long-awaited project, The Xpirement, after leaving fans eagerly waiting for his next release. We have finally received the time frame, album trailers, merch overviews, and more. So I'm going to get you guys and myself up to speed in this video. So, on April 11th, 2025, more Chaos dropped to very mixed reviews and the fan base, leaving many fans with a sour taste in their mouths and overall disappointed with the fact that Ken has doubled down on another album in the Chaos style. Here's popular music commentary person Still Boollin sharing his thoughts on it.
I'm just so glad and thankful that this nigga's not dropping anything Chaos related, because the Chaos was actually getting out of hand. First it was a great Chaos, then it was more Chaos, then it was Chaos this, then it's like just the Chaos was fucking ridiculous, bro. No more fucking Chaos, bro. But I'm glad this nigga's experimenting and that to change it up. No more fucking Chaos. We're gonna get some new music. We're gonna get some different vibes. Hopefully it's a melodic album.
Let me just say I totally agree with Still Boollin here, because even after the A Great Chaos Deluxe, I was already burnt out of the sound. And in that time frame, because of the success of the Great Chaos, so many artists really hopped on that wave and already saturated that sound before more Chaos could even get a chance at releasing. So yes, I'm excited for the Xpirement, but I'm really hoping for maybe a 14-song masterclass that really proves Ken as an artist he is, because honestly, More Chaos wasn't that bad, I thought. It was just bloated. It was 22 songs long, many misses, and for an artist with such sporadic melodies and flows, you don't want a bloated album, fans just don't want to listen to that. Especially with our current, attention spans, as funny as that sounds, but it's just real. Anyway, enough shitting, let's talk about the project. As of today, June 18th, we so far have gotten 3 really engaging album release trailers starting just 6 days ago, so let's break them down. Prior to the first official trailer, we had already known Ken was gearing up for this album announcement and constantly working on the Xpirement, and over the past couple months he teased different merch designs, graphics, and snippets. But it all changed when we finally got a first visual for this project. The first trailer follows a few scientists as they overlook and study a patient in this high contrast camcorder Super 8 vibe done by the GOAT Joy Division, who's been running the album rollout scene recently with Early Life Crisis. And may I just say, super cool video, especially that we get the first view of this guy with the Xpirement X on his chest. You can see the USB attachment like a hard drive on his chest where you presumably plug it in and listen to music. This instantly had me excited, even after not being hyped for anything Ken has done in a while. No diss, just facts, because of the aesthetic and the tasteful nature of the trailer. It feels very found footagey, but also establishes a great sense of mystery while furthering the rollout process. This post accompanied no caption, but many producers collaborating on the project had some emojis to share, teasing their part on the track list, and a fan actually pointed out a rather interesting feature of this first trailer, that the melody of the track is heard from the heartbeat monitor, which is actually a really tasteful choice if this is the case, because it doesn't sound like a normal heartbeat. So shout out Ken and Joy for thinking of that if that was the case. And then the next day we got a patchwork logo here of the album name accompanied with the caption, "The days are not moving fast enough." I'm sure many fans felt the same way as their excitement rises with the teasers for the album. This comment section features a couple more producers teasing, as well as fans with elaborate coping theories. This is typical of the normal Opium fans, what can I say? With little to no space to breathe or process anything we've seen the last day, Ken and Joy team up again with a 55-second trailer where we get a really cool look at the whole setup these scientists have on the Xpirement, followed by the X hard drive being plugged into the Xpirement, who then gets injected with a shot, leaving his heart rate to go crazy, almost dying, and the scientists argue and banter, but it seems as though they want you to think here that the music is saving him. And we share one last look from the scientists before an amazing album teaser trailer fades away. Let me just say, Joy Division, insane. Coach with this one too. The set design on this one is insane. In the comments here, we have the first confirmation from Ken that the month of the album dropping is going to be July. And basically a bunch of fans overly hyped, which is, to be expected. 2 days pass, and we get a visual of what the Xpirement actually looks like from those first trailers, and a message accompanying it, audio routed through the body. Pretty cool, And then followed by a white background photo of the exact same guy, same picture, and then again, another black background photo of the guy, which had fans spiraling in the comments talking about how he posted 3 times, meaning July 3rd, but honestly, they might have been kind of onto something here, and I'll get more into that later. The following day, we see a visual of this girl who's presumably another Xpirement, but the dots don't connect until a few hours later, where we see her in her own trailer, as she's being experimented on, and the lady speaks into an intercom system blatantly telling us the album is in July of this year. Bleeping out the day of the month here, many fans say her lips read July 3rd here, which would make sense being that it is a Friday. Followed in the trailer we see a really cool moment where headphones are placed in the Xpirement. In this case, we hear a snippet from the project, leaving her to give the ultimate stank face I've ever seen in my life. And the scientist lady, he calls back, or she calls back into the lab, dialing Xpirement into the phone, which by far is the coolest moment of this trailer. Now, the match cuts there are insane. Shout out Joy Division again. Tells the audience and lab that there's a positive reaction. And this for me so far has been the coolest trailer. It seemed to get everyone the most excited, most riled up, making theories about when the project will be dropping in July based on the beeping out number over the intercom, which at this time of recording, we assume it is still July 3rd. A few hours later, we get the same post of the Xpirement with the same message as before, that side effects include hearing beyond the intended range. Many fans asked in the comments for confirmation about the July 3rd release date, to no response, but all hype. That's pretty much all we know from album trailers and Ken Carson posts, but one look at his following can tell you quite a lot. You see a bunch of producers and a couple of artists which have confirmed production on the album already. He's also following Joy, who did all the album release trailers, so this makes sense. But the one thing that interested me the most was Casey Hill being followed here. A feature from her on this project would be insane, would be legendary. Super excited to hear that. And as of today, that's kind of all us fans know from the trailers and teasers posted on Instagram. So if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. Let me know what you want me to talk about next, and peace.